So this begins a little project to replace a lot of the fuel delivery variables in my 150. And what we're going to do is take off the cowling for starters, and I'll show you what lines we're going to replace and rebuilding the pulse fuel pump as well. So here we are on the port side of the engine, and this guy right here is the pulse fuel pump. Fuel line comes directly into that. Basically comes down here and out and around, and the other side of the motor. The primer bulb is here. Primer bulb goes into the hull here, and then the line continues basically from up underneath here over along here, and ultimately, even though you can't really see it right now, oh, here, let me allow you to see it, the top of the fuel tank right here. So that's where it ultimately terminates. We're going to replace all that cabling just to take that out of the equation. It's possible why the motor would occasionally stall or die, either during a wide open throttle run or during just sort of idling along. So we're also going to replace the fuel filter here. That's only like a $20 part. So more later. So far all I've done is there's a connection that comes into the bottom of the pulse fuel pump. It was banded together with a clamp into the gray line that actually comes in from the fuel tank, the part I'll be replacing. And this is the other end of it, so I just pulled that off, and this is where it's going into the boat. So I'm going to start disassembling the fuel line all the way to the tank. So I got the whole fuel line removed. This end where my foot is where it was attached to the gas tank, and it just went around the side of the boat like that, over there, and then this is where it came out of the boat, of the hull, and entered the outside, and then you had your primer bulb, and then it went around towards the pulse fuel pump. So this is what it looks like, that outside part I was talking about. So again, the fuel tank's over there, and then it wrapped around inside here, and then underneath here, the back of the boat, and then came out right here. I don't know if you can see that in this light, but there's a hole where my finger is, and it's the diameter of the fuel line, the gray fuel line, not the thick black one, and came out there. So just waiting for the new fuel line assembly, and then we'll change out the fuel filter and rebuild the pulse fuel pump when we get that kit, and then hook everything back up. One more thing I wanted to point out about this hole, I think you can probably see it from this angle a little bit better, where the fuel line came out from the hull. I'll figure out like some epoxy or something like that to put together there and patch that hole up. But because I don't think I'm going to reuse it, what I'm going to do instead is, I think there's plenty of room here where most of the control cables are coming out for you know, stuff like the you know, the controls from the cockpit, steering cables, throttle, etc. And it's not really going to be tight to bring it just out of the hull from here. I'm not sure why they did a separate line over to here for the fuel line. Maybe I'll ask one of the guys in the forum what they think about that. But I'm just going to patch this up and just have everything come out of this location. So there you go.